So this is a story of three brothers. These three brothers have been in an ongoing conflict with a little guy. Now, next to the brother's house, there's a kindergarten. And this little guy stands in the middle of the kindergarten, in the middle of the playground, and starts throwing stones at the brother's house. And sometimes the stones hit other people walking by who've got nothing to do with their argument. And sometimes the stones don't hit anybody, but they just frighten people. And sometimes the stones break the windows of the brother's house. And so the brothers, they look at this little guy, and he's standing in the middle of the playground. Lots of babies and kids standing around him. And they know that if they throw stones back at him, they might hit these other little children in the playground. Now, there are three brothers, and each brother has a different approach. One brother says, look, if we throw things back at our enemy, we're liable to hit other people as well, and innocent people are going to get hurt. We are better off not doing anything. We will not throw anything back at this guy. We will not try and fight this guy, because just fighting is awful, and we're not going to do anything. So the elder brother is a pacifist. He says that war is always devastating, so never go to war. Just do not enter into fighting at all. But the thing is, the other two brothers said, well, that's stupid. That means that this guy is going to keep throwing stones at us. Our life is going to be a misery. He's just going to be encouraged by the fact that we're not doing anything to him. And so the middle brother, he says, look, people are getting hurt anyway. People are going to be hurt the longer this thing goes on. So I think what we should do is the three of us should pick up huge stones, storm into the playground, and keep throwing stones at him until he stops. And if it so happens that a couple of little kids in the playground get hurt, so be it. Fighting is always horrible. Let's just go in with all our force to make sure it's over as quick as possible. That middle brother is what some people call a realist. He says war is always devastating, so we should just make sure to win fast. But the younger brother says, no, we must try and do this properly. If we think it's wrong that he hurts innocent people, we should try very hard not to hurt innocent people. We should try and fight him. We should try and stop him. And if it needs force, then we'll use force to stop him. But at the same time, we're going to take every possible measure to make sure we stop him, but we don't hurt any of the kids in the playground. So this younger brother is talking about just war. And just war theorists say that war is always devastating, but sometimes you can't avoid it, so just make sure that you fight justly. The two brothers turn to their baby brother and they say, you know what? This just war thing of yours, that sounds like a great idea. But we've got one question for you. How? How do we know that we're doing the right thing? And the younger brother, he says, I have 3 rules. The first rule is that we must try one more time to make peace with our enemy without fighting. We've got to fight as a last resort. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is that all the people who come to our house who are not fighting, we make them put on a different coloured coat. And we shout out to all the kids in the nursery to watch out, and that they should put on a different coloured coat as well, so that we all know who's fighting and who is a civilian. That rule is the rule of differentiation, making a difference between the fighters and the civilians. Normally, what you mean by that is that the fighters, the soldiers, have to wear a uniform. They're wearing a uniform so as to differentiate themselves from people who are not involved in the fighting. And my third rule is proportionality. We have to fight proportionally. And the other two brothers say, what do you mean proportionally? What, you mean because he's hurt 3 of our friends, we only get to hurt 3 of his friends? Do you mean he only uses small stones, so we should only use small stones? And the younger brother says, no, that's not what I mean by proportionality. What I mean is, we should use the exact amount of force necessary to get him to stop throwing stones. That means that if we can get him to stop attacking us by only throwing a tennis ball at him, we only use a tennis ball. We do not throw a 2-ton bomb on the whole of his house and on the whole of the neighbourhood to get him to stop throwing stones at us, because that would be disproportionate. We should only use the amount of force we need in order to get him to stop fighting us. That's proportionality. So it's got to be a last resort. We need to differentiate, and we need proportionality.